you grew from a 60K account to a 100K account in a matter of, what is it, weeks, months?
Weeks.
Weeks. Welcome everyone. I'm here with Philip from the US. Very excited to have this conversation with him. He has passed the accounts and scaled the accounts multiple times, and he has a lot of good insights to share with all of us. So, Philip, how are you?
I'm doing well today. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thanks for taking the time to make the interview.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure traders will find a lot of value from it. So, first, a little bit of who Philip is, where is he from, what he does, how old, I don't know, whatever you want to share.
Yeah, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, here in the United States. It's kind of cold today, but our football team won on Sunday, so we're all very, very happy here.
The Browns.
Yes, the Browns pulled one out. In usual Browns fashion, those we're used to losing those, so maybe it's a sea change for the whole organization, but I doubt it.
You're going to the playoffs? Don't think so.
We're on the Super Bowl, baby.
That's the trader's mindset you need.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
40 years old. I work full time at the Cleveland Clinic here. I'm a laboratory quality and compliance specialist. The one nice thing about the job is that due to COVID, we kind of picked up a hybrid model. So I do work from home multiple days a week, anywhere from 2 to 3 days a week. I'm working from home, and I'm at a desk most of the day. So it does allow me to kind of also have some charts open on the side.
Amazing.
And keep an eye on things. So it's really kind of the perfect situation for a I'll say part-time trader, where I'm able to still see the charts most of the day and be able to look for entries. Other than that, I'm 40. I have two amazing boys and a lovely wife, and they keep me extremely busy outside of everything else.
I can relate to
So,
that. Now, Philip,
so that is,
how long have you been trading, or where do you find about trading?
I would say I've been trading on and off for about 5 years, pretty much on. As long as at the time I had money to put into an account, I was really trying to learn. Um, it's definitely a longer road than I think most people would like to think when they first jump into it. Everybody at the time when I first found out about Forex, I had just been laid off from a position and was doing odd jobs. I Ubered for a while as I was putting out resumes and trying to find something else. And I don't remember. I must have put in a search of like, how can you make money? And at the time, I'm sure that prop firms came up. I feel like I remember reading one, and it seemed very scammy. The ones that popped up in a search engine. I was like, oh, that's too good to be true. So obviously I kind of shied away from that. And I was like, well, let me just start a small account. I went on like babypips.com to learn kind of the basics. I read Naked Forex, which the author is escaping me right now. And just tried to learn. And I did demo for a little bit, and I really found that while demo is great, it's also can give you a very large false sense of confidence, because I did demo for a little while. I was like, this isn't that hard at all. And you throw some money in a live account, and all of a sudden you're like, what happened? None of the trades are working out my way, or I don't have as much, you're not making as much because you don't have as much to trade with. On a demo account, I can be like, I have $1 million, la di da. And on a live account, you have to say, oh, well, I have, $2,000 I'm willing to risk. And like, hopefully this isn't my whole life savings. And, and it just really brought into focus how important like the mental part of trading is, not only from a, picking your strategy and kind of finding your entries, but managing a trade once it's live, and managing your emotions is I think the part that takes the longest to learn, I think, out of anything. Like learning the basics and terminologies and kind of how everything works doesn't kind of take that long. It's everything else that you have to learn and tie it all together.
Okay, let's go deeper into what you're talking about. So first, your experience trading live was different from trading demo. So first, what changed there? And then you also mentioned the fact that the emotions come into the game, and also the risk management. So, and you mentioned active risk management or trade management. So can you go deeper into that? Like what do you do with your trades, or a little bit of what you approach to trading?
Yeah, so I think that obviously the biggest change from demo to a live account is that it's your money. It's and with that comes certain anxieties or hopes in a trade. I think that the most important thing I learned is really, as far as risk management goes, is you never, they always say, don't risk more than you're willing to lose. But that kind of gives you an idea that, like, oh well, I have $2,000 to lose, that's what I can risk. And that's just absurd. You have to really look at it like um kind of pieces of the pie. And that's why it's so important to you know minimize that risk, because it takes you twice as long to make back money you lose, really.
Correct.
So if you can keep your risks small, and then ideally have bigger gains, then you're gonna come out on top. It's all a numbers game. You could only hit a smaller percentage of your trades, but if your risk management is good, you're still gonna come out ahead. And I think the biggest thing that I learned, as far as like active, it's a luxury and a curse, I think, of being able to actually see the charts as often as I can, because you know, sometimes you get in your head of, oh, I think it's going to keep going my way. So, you try to let trades run, and they might come back, and then it can lead to some revenge trading and things of that nature. So I think the important thing is to have a plan. And I'm my personal style, I'm actually kind of very flexible on my take profits. I'm kind of, since I'm looking at the charts so much, I do kind of like, if I see profit on the table and it looks like it might be going, turning against me, I'll take profit at 2 or 3 pips even. I would say that this strategy, I mainly scalp, only because I don't tend to keep trades open all that long.
Mhm.
But I will, if it seems like it's going. I don't have like a hard 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 necessarily. But I always try to maintain a strict stop loss on my trades.
Okay. Now, and then you discovered, I don't know, prop firms, and you find out about the fibers. So how do you treat, or how you approach a prop firm account or a funded account differently than a demo or a real personal account? What do you think is the difference in terms of risk management, psychology?
I think that one of the big differences is that the availability of more money to trade with allows you to stick to your risk management much better. If I have a $5,000 account, I can only be making pennies on the dollar, really, with a similar risk management. So with a prop firm account, I can stick to much tighter risk statistics, 0.5% and 0.51%, and still be comfortable, because in reality, you're making more money. It just allows you to really kind of hone in on a strategy, and not worry so much about the amount of money you're making, because
Correct.
you're not trying to build up this tiny account into something that can make you money. You're provided with this, amount to work with that then allows you to be successful, because it takes some of that stress and anxiety of like, I want to make money, and you're able to kind of like stretch that out much further.
Okay. Now, I would like to share your dashboards, because you have an amazing journey. You started out on a 60K two-step evaluation account. The high stakes program we offer is the two-step challenge. Mm-hmm. And you scale up multiple times. Amazing performance. I would like to go deeper into that. And just to make sure, you did all that scaling by by scalping, essentially.
Yes, fundamentally, yes.
Fundamentally, yes.
I had a couple of long trades that kind of stuck, but overall, yes.
So this is your 60K evaluation, and I'll like explain us a little bit of what you do. You approach the markets. What's your setup? What's your strategy? Like, how do we come? Like, how do you get into the target on this account?
So let's take a gander at some of these trades. I was trying to look at where the euro was sitting at that time. It's kind of been all over the place, and that kind of gives me a better idea here. So one of the things that I have found to be more successful than not is, and it's a problem that I run into still myself, is being committed to one side of a trade.
Okay.
Having that assurance in your head that, oh, the euro's going down today. I know it's gonna happen. And then, you're just kind of sitting there and you're making trades on this concept that, oh, it's going to reverse any second now. Well, clearly the market's showing you that that's maybe not the case that day. And if you feel like you can't commit then to the other position, then just, sit on your hands and maybe feel bad that you maybe missed a trade, but at the same time, you're not then stacking up losses throughout the day. But for this, for this account, it was really important for me. I decided it was maybe a little more aggressive. I was slightly over the 0.5% that I started definitely committing to once I got the higher account. I was trading about 0.7%, 5 lots. Usually I put it at a 10 pip stop loss, and then I'll move it to break even.
Okay.
If the trade's going my way, and then I'll also, close out early if I feel like it's moving close. If it starts looking like it's going to turn around to my stop loss, then I'm not going to bother kind of keeping it open. But overall, I just, kind of try to stick to my plan. I really only use a 16 to 360 moving average.
Okay.
On my charts, and that's just to kind of give me, it gives me a little bit of guardrails on where, I have through, kind of a lot of back testing and everything else, where I kind of see, either changes in momentum, or if there's a break and retest of those, is kind of where I try to set up a lot of my trades. So it tends to do a little better in a market that is just kind of bouncing around. So it's very important then to kind of like, that's why the risk management is so good, so important, because then if it starts going actually trending one way or the other, it gives me then opportunities to get out of that trade and then reassess, instead of kind of holding a long trade and keep hoping that it'll turn around for me.
Okay.
I think the most important part of this day, of this evaluation, I think, was this big dip that you see kind of coming right back down to 60K. Because that historically, when I've traded on other firms and things of that nature, as I was learning, that's where you can kind of get in trouble and be like, oh, I was doing so well, and now I'm back to break even, and you can get frustrated and really let that affect your trading,
Correct.
and you start taking trades that maybe are more aggressive or don't fit, kind of your strategy. So I was very proud of myself that I kind of sat and waited for a trade that was more my speed. I'm sure I added an extra trade as I saw it going in my direction because it looked like this was a nice big jump. So normally what will happen is, while I do scalp, if I do see that it, breaks a structure, then I might, obviously add additional trades to that while maintaining the same 0.5% risk. So I'll move one to break even and then put the same risk on the next trade.
Okay. Now, if we see the next account, you actually started at a drawdown. You didn't start positive. You started like going into.
I did not. It's much harder then.
Yeah. So how do you okay? What do you tell yourself, or how do you manage to, get out of the drawdown?
Well, I think the most important part when you end up in a drawdown, I have found, is to not try to get it all back. I mean, I really kind of did there. You can get a great trade and that can happen, but it's really important not to try to win it all back in one trade. In reality, this might have worked out great for me here. It was, if you can find the right trade, then that works out great. But that expectation should not be the norm. It's, you just kind of. I had a doctor I worked with who always said, like, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is one bite at a time, right? You can't eat a whole elephant at once. You have to, you take those kind of smaller wins, and you really just try to keep your confidence up. It's a numbers game, and it's a long game. You are really, working against a extremely large market that can move wherever it wants, and you don't really affect that at all. Your trades do not move the needle in really any capacity. So you just kind of have to ride what you see and just keep managing that risk is all I can really say. So it was extremely important at that point just to stick to the strategy that you have, because if you've tested the strategy enough and you're confident in it, you should, with proper risk management, be able to turn that around. And sometimes you might not be able to, but it was just really important to me to say, tomorrow's another day. The market's going to give opportunities every day, and if it doesn't give you opportunities that you like, then you just wait for the next day.
Okay, fantastic. Now you pass this. Okay, you get out of the drawdown, get it to the target, and now the fun begins. At the 5ers, as long as once you're funded, as long as you make 10% profit and you have a minimum of 3 profitable days, you scale up your account. So you get your funded account, and we can see directly, instantly from the amount of trades it took you to scale the account, we can see something slightly different. So could you tell, like we can see here, you place like 22 trades, 20 trades, and here you place like more trades. So what changes on your trading once you start managing a funded account?
So this was, this was over more time. So it's more trades because there are more days to trade as well. But overall, I tried not to change too much. The one thing that I wanted to make sure that I didn't change once I was funded was my risk and the amount of money I was trading. Very often, you get a funded account, and you're like, let's go make some money, and as you can see, I didn't to start. I did end up in a drawdown. I even reduced my risk beyond my normal risk to I tightened it kind of way up once I was in Drawdown, because I had funded accounts before with another company, and I did that exact thing. I was like, I'll make it, I'll make it all back. I'm clearly I can do this because I passed all the challenges. And you'd get in your own head, and all of a sudden then it's gone. So I did reduce my risk down significantly, to kind of get back into a groove. I think sometimes that you have to, especially as somebody who kind of scalps and is kind of in and out of a lot of trades, you have to kind of find that groove a little bit back. And so lowering my risk was very important to kind of working myself back up. And then after that, I kind of just was able to to find good trades and be strict with what I wanted to accomplish.
Amazing. You said it right, because we see a lot of traders, once they're funded, they have this sense of overconfidence and they start risking a lot and they end up losing their account. So I'll try to speed up things a little bit, because we want to touch base on something. So you scaled this account from a 60K account to a 70K account. You did well, straight to profit, grow the account, hit the 10% target, 3 minimum profitable days, scale again. Now Philip is managing 80K account. Again, great performance, almost no drawdown, 10% target. We can see also the consistency in your trading. You're trading similar volumes, Euro USD almost all the time. We can see the average trade duration is almost the same all the time. So we see the consistency when we go through these accounts. You hit again the 10% target, and now you're managing a 90K, a 100K funded account. And of course, I don't know, we see there's some things, you went to drawdown, you recovered the drawdown, and again, you made it to the target. How are you feeling? Let's stop right now. You grew from a 60K account to a 100K account in a matter of, what is it, weeks, months?
Weeks.
How does that feel? How are you feeling right now? Are you withdrawing profits along the way? You're building a cushion. What you doing right now?
So it was I guess, to be honest, it was a little like unbelievable at first. It was great. I just hitting good trades, felt amazing. Being able to scale up really gives you beyond that sense of accomplishment that you get obviously from winning trades and making money.
Yep.
I love this setup at the 5ers because it gives you smaller, not smaller, because 10% of $10,000 is not small in any capacity, but it gives you targets to shoot for beyond just making your money. So it kind of gives you another goal and another thing that you're looking towards, and then another sense of accomplishment that that you continue to move up. And it really makes it feel like you're working with a company that's working towards your success as well. And it really does feel much more than other places I've worked with, a collaborative effort to see to want to see you succeed and to really reward that success.
Correct. And I don't think you're a great example. Once we find someone like you on the company, we profile our traders, and then we know what to do with your trades in order to leverage that and make money. And of course, you make money, we make money, and we're all the same. We're aligned.
Everyone's happy.
Everyone's happy. That's right. Okay, you hit 10% target, and you scale up to 125K. Again, you hit the 10% target, and you get into a 150K account.
Yes.
What happens there?
You can open it if you want.
Yeah, you're ready to share that with us?
Yes, I am. So, a few things happened. One of which is, for every scale that I had, I took all of my profit.
Okay.
That was intentional. I had bills that needed paid. I needed a new car. There were expenses that just kind of needed to get paid. And ideally I would especially in this situation, had I not, taken this last payout, I might have felt a little more comfortable in not trying to get back, the money that I was, going down. And in future, I plan on maintaining some money in that account as a cushion. Just really more so for the psychological assistance that that gives to not be than necessarily to continue building the account. That's one of the other great things about having a scale, having the scaling is that you're not, beholden to the more money I keep in this account, the higher I can go. You kind of have that extra ability to grow that account outside of that. So it allows
Right.
you, I think, to also, enjoy some of the profits that you made. It's a lot of work to then just have to have it all sit in an account to keep growing. And I know that's important too, but I think you also have to treat yourself a little bit, or else, what's the point? Because a lot of us are doing it part-time and are taking time out of our days that might be spent doing other things to really grind and work on making this a good career for people. So I think advice is to enjoy some of it, but then to put some of it back. And the biggest change I had here, and you can probably see it on my average trade size, is my average trade size went up to 9.43.
Yeah.
And so I, as I continued to, it was a meteoric rise of scaling accounts over the course of basically a month and a half. So I did get a little overconfident, and I moved up that that amount that I was trading per trade, and that really hurt me. It didn't allow me for as much of a buffer as I wanted, and then it just, at that point, I kind of got in my own head a little bit about it, to be honest. And I think I just over traded to try to get it all back, because I had such a good run up until then. And so it was a very important lesson learned of, really just sticking to your strategies. And I think that for me, for my strategy, 0.5% is a good number. 1% is kind of the max. And I started, creeping a little further than that. And then the results kind of speak for themselves in a negative way.
Amazing. Amazing, Philip. Thank you for also being transparent and allow me to show you also the failed account, which is, that's the lesson we learn as traders. We learn from those mistakes and from those actions, and we improve as traders. And I know you're on the way to become funded as again. So I'm excited for you about that. Getting to the end of the interview, just share a little bit with the traders, general experience with the 5ers, any advice you would like to give the traders trading with us?
Yeah, boy, I mean, I don't know that we don't have enough time for me to say all the good things I want to say about the
we have
5ers.
5 minutes.
To be completely honest. No, the experience with this company has been absolutely phenomenal. I think the product offerings that you have are varied enough for everybody who wants to jump in. I think that the high stakes challenge was perfect for me. I love the scaling that you can do. The profit splits are all reasonable. Very generous, I would say, especially as you continue to scale up. I think you really have, it's a great system that entices people to continue to trade well and really build that relationship. I think that all the rules and guidelines that are in place only make you a better trader. It really, that's what really kind of honed my focus in on my own personal risk management, was the fact that, you have rules that you have to follow beyond your own rules. And it really helped to solidify some of those things in my trading. As far as advice for people, I mean, really it's, stick to your risk strategy and stick with it. I mean, it's not an easy or a short road. You can have very good success one month and another month not do quite as well as you're hoping. And you just kind of keep working and keep grinding, and you'll get there, and you'll get some money, and hopefully, help yourself to financial independence, which is what I think all of us are shooting for, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Philip, I can thank you enough for the time and the interview. I think the little advice you threw here and there during the interview are priceless. So thank you for taking the time to share your experience and your knowledge with other traders and with the audience. And best of success on your current account. Probably in the future we'll make a follow-up interview to see how you're doing. And happy holidays.
Thank you. You as well. And thanks everybody for watching.
Thank you very much.